When your neighbors have an issue or when they're having a clash, all of us tend to listen or watch with keen interest, right? Not for voyeuristic reasons, but it's just something that's inbuilt in our culture. When neighbors are fighting or having an issue, all of us pay attention, and that's why Indians are going to be watching this match with keen interest. It's Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka at the Asia Cup, and in the Cricbuzz live studio, a globetrotter has arrived. This is Zaheer Khan. Sir, I've been told that you've been paying excess baggage for your passport. So much travel that you've been doing.
No, I've been traveling light.
Oh, yes.
Keeping it very simple.
And you've become an Instagram star now. You've been doing it really well, sir. I've been seeing a lot of stories.
I have no idea.
Such,
If you say so.
Such humility. Such humility.
If you say so.
But we need you today because fast bowling is going to be a big topic. We'll talk to you about Shaheen Shah Afridi as well. We missed you yesterday. Mr. Bhattacharjya is here again, sir. Well rested?
Very, very well rested. Fortunately, Nepal's second innings gave us a little bit of breathing space for today. But today is going to be a cracker of a match. And this group is the group to watch out for. All the fun
you
is
called it the group of death.
Absolutely.
Right? All to play for. A loss here will mean that, the fate of that team will not be in their hands. It's what they call the Nagin Derby. We know the seeds of that rivalry were sown at the Asia Cup in the past. I'm not too sure if players really look at those things, do they?
I think they do.
Oh, they do?
And
Okay.
if the history is just in the recent past, then it always kind of keeps the whole edge of the match going. It's always interesting to see. You've seen with Bangladesh, they're a fiery lot.
Yep.
And if they are winning, then all these kind of things will also come out for sure. And Sri Lanka also, if you look at their team, it's been a revival of sorts. They're trying to get things back on track. They're trying to do all the right things, back the right players. All those things are getting in place. So I'm sure you need any motivation possible, and I'm sure in the team chats and leading up to this game, they must be talking about all these things that Bangladesh did this in the past. You want to make sure that you win and carry with the momentum which they've shown right now. So Sri Lanka, I think, will be thinking about the game and trying to find inspiration from wherever they can.
People from that island nation generally off the field, very gentle, very genteel, very soft-spoken, but on the field, they don't give an inch. They take a lot of pride in representing their country.
Yeah, they do, absolutely. And in fact, it's a very interesting thing because, this same Sri Lanka side, 2-3 years back, had a lot of disciplinary issues. This team was going backwards. Even last year, if you look at it, then, they had a situation where their team was in trouble. They lost 5 out of 6 matches and all. Suddenly they've got it together. First they got it together for the Asia Cup, the T20, and nobody expected them to win. They came out and rode out of nowhere to win it. And then in the World Cup qualifiers, the way they won their last 10 matches,
Yes.
I mean, they just look at that, And if you look at the results, see the numbers out there. There's just one victory, which is a small victory, which is 21 runs. All of the other victories are big victories. 132 runs, 9 wickets. These are not contests. Even West Indies, they beat by 8 wickets. Zimbabwe by 9. So what you're seeing is not just wins. These are dominant wins. And that's something that tells you about the form they're in. Of course, the situation out here, I feel, is totally different.
Yes, at the start of this century, Sri Lanka had made a habit of reaching big finals of big tournaments. But in the last 3 years, they've had to go through the qualifier route. That would hurt their pride a lot. What's gone wrong with Sri Lanka?
I think we've been talking about this. We've been talking about this for a while now. This is not something which is new, but it's good to see the changes right now. Good to see that there is some vision in place. They know that the process is going to be slow, but you need to find the right players and back them. I think that's what was missing. Maybe 5-6 years back, maybe when Mahela and Sangakkara walked away from the team. They were looking for that leader who is going to take the team forward, and they were struggling in that department. Then you've seen too many changes around the squad. That also didn't help. No one was really getting settled. So you need all these things in place for sure. So that transition, if it's not smooth, you can really fall back into how things were going for you as a team. And that's what happened with Sri Lanka. But good to see that they are putting things together, and all those results are just a reflection of the resurgence, I would say, of Sri Lankan cricket.
Mahela is a part of that coaching camp. He's the consultant coach, I've been told. It's good to have someone like him around to just calm the nerves. He's been there, he's done it all.
Absolutely. I mean, him and Sangakkara, they're legends. See, the most important thing are they're not just legends on the field, they're legends off the field. Both of them stand for a certain amount of things, as coaches, as characters. If you hear Sangakkara's MCC, the speech, the Korean Cadre's speech, memorial speech that he gave, I mean, the quality of the man and the quality of what he brings to the team is something very different, even if they are from outside. And I think what you've seen is the last 2-3 years is relative stability, because once they walked away from the game, there was just 2-3 years where they were not really involved at all, until things got so bad that they've come back. And I think now they pick the kind of characters who they think will take Sri Lankan cricket forward. Whether it's very importantly Shanaka, Charita Asalanka, they've got these pieces and said these pieces will invest in them, they'll give you value. They'll give you good returns.
It's a small nation, but their fans will remember that they are the defending champions of the Asia Cup, although it was a T20 format last year. Now, yesterday we spoke about how Pakistan seemed to be absolute hot favourites. They've got all bases covered. Does Sri Lanka have it in them to go all the way?
I think they do. There is no doubt about that. And with these tournaments, when it comes to the final bit, when you reach the finals, then it's just about playing good cricket on that particular day. So it's just about playing consistent cricket leading up to that. And when you look at the format, yes, this group is a tricky one. But you're looking at the momentum, and you look at the injuries on both the sides. You will say right now Bangladesh will be more nervous getting into this game than Sri Lanka. So even though they are missing few players, both the teams are missing players, but I think there are more worries in the Bangladesh camp than the Sri Lanka camp. And when you're looking at that, it's just about getting to that next phase. And when you're playing against India and Pakistan, I think that will be the biggest challenge for Sri Lanka. If you get that confidence from those games, then come finals, it's just going to be anyone's game.
Yes, Bangladesh have had a checkered run in 2023. The word mercurial is often used for Pakistan, but I suppose Bangladesh want to sort of steal that adjective. They've been very up and down. They troubled India last year in December playing at home, but this is what they've done this year.
See, I genuinely feel that Bangladesh's best format is ODI cricket. I feel that they're, as a team, the kind of batters they have, whether you look at Shakib, you look at Mushfiqur, their T20 I think is a bit too fast. They don't score fast enough for T20s. But ODI cricket is their sort of sweet spot. So I think they're a good team to play this format. Bangladesh team is a very interesting team. It's basically a team of sort of the class of 2007. When you see that you still have them, Litton almost, not Litton, he almost came back, Tamim almost came back, Mushfiqur, Shakib. That's a class of 2007. They were teenagers there. And then you have the class of 2020. Tawfiq and, the new boys, Tanzid, Tawfiq, here.
Yep.
Okay, Shariful Islam, really talented bowler. So they are like, they're a team in transition.
Yep.
This is the period where you're going to see this transition happen from one very strong set of players to another. And it's going to take, but in that transition time, it's not easy. And I think that is the only problem with the team. I think it's neither, whose team is it is a question you want to ask. Because yes, Shakib is the captain, but if you look at the record, there'll be something very interesting that you'll see in the way.
There's been a bit of a mini chaos in Bangladesh with Tamim retiring, unretiring. The Prime Minister had to intervene. She just said, no, you're not retiring. Then he got injured. Then Shakib was brought in. Could they have looked at someone else? Is it good to have someone who's done the job in the past? You're just a month away from the World Cup.
No, I think what Joyda was touching upon, the point of team going through transition. That's the right way of putting it out there. And when you're going through a transition phase, as a team, you just have to experiment a little bit. In that you might have to take a couple of steps back, which is fair enough. But as long as you have that vision in place, as long as you have those steps charted out very, very clearly, you can keep on going ahead very soon. So it's just about finding those right players and giving them that platform. With international level, the more you play, more experience you're going to gain, and that's how you're going to find players. There's no one fit that you can say that okay, this is the path you follow, and then you're going to see results. I think it's just about a little bit of experimenting, giving the chances to the right players, and hoping that they flourish and shorten that transition phase for the team.
Now, Shakib hasn't captained the ODI team since 2017, but it shouldn't really matter. He's gold, isn't he?
No, there is no doubt at all. Shakib is one of the great all-rounders of our times. He's one of the great all-rounders. And if you look at him, though he does well in all formats, ODI is probably his best format also as a player, as a bowler also, because he He can bowl those 10 overs, he can pin it down, but also he bats that 115, 120 strike rate. That's enough for him. He doesn't need to score at 150, 60, which is not a Shakib game. So this format suits him to the core. The question is, what's the problem with Shakib? Shakib has done it all in Bangladesh cricket by 2014-15. He's done Karlia, he's captained, he's been captain for 4 years. He's seen that, he's seen the glory. So the only thing about him is motivation today. That today when I'm my captain, how do I motivate myself? And I think the only way Shakib can look at it is probably look at it and say that, okay, this is an Asia Cup. Probably this World Cup is going to be the last World Cup I'm going to play, because by the time the next World Cup comes around, he's going to be 40 years old. Who knows whether he'll still be playing. This might be his last World Cup. He had a sensational 2019 World Cup, if you remember. And Shakib is one guy who turns up for the big tournament. So around now, he'll be saying, okay, I have nothing to lose. This is a young side. Let me give it all I have. And he's playing without pressure. Because he is not worried whether after the World Cup or after this, whether he retains his captaincy or not. It doesn't matter to him at all.
Well, Bangladesh will look at his numbers since 2019 and say, listen, we've got this bona fide all-rounder who's been in terrific rhythm since 2019. Look at his numbers: 29 matches, 888 runs, a decent batting average, 45 wickets. These are terrific numbers that will calm the nerves of the younger players around who might be playing their first few matches of their career.
Yeah, when you're looking at that Bangladesh squad, you'll see a lot of players which have come from that under-19 tournament. So you have a lot of young guys there, and when you are talking about transition, also you're looking at that team having someone, the senior guy who players can look up to, can gain from his advice, the experience. So Shakib is actually this can be good for him in terms of finding that motivation. Which Joyda was mentioning, that at this stage you have to find that energy, that excitement of being out there on the field. And back of your mind, you're always thinking about, okay, how you want it to end, how do you want to walk away from the game, all those factors. There's some have, because the scrutiny is also happening in a different way when you are at this stage in your career. So all those things can just be managed well, when you have added responsibility. So so for him being a captain now, having a very a young and lively dressing room, is only going to help him just share his knowledge and put those goals in front of these guys to have that motivation, to have that fire, which we've seen that with Shakib, you've seen that he's out there to win games of cricket. That's something which has been very clear, very evident with him. At times he takes it to the level which he shouldn't be, but all those things are definitely going to help him keep his motivation going, and also the Bangladesh team.
You reckon Chris Silverwood sorry, not Chris Silverwood, the Bangladesh coaching camp would have a word with Shakib and say, listen, you might want to just calm down a little bit, or do you not mess with a player of that caliber?
I think that time is way past. You could have told Shakib that. See, that's the point. Shakib, I've worked with him. He's he's a great individual. He's a great supporter for Bangladesh cricket. The biggest thing about Shakib is the fact that his intensity also makes him the competitor and player he is. So you can't dial that down without getting it. You just look at that record, leave Scotland and this thing. All those are not really teams that you consider. They're not top level teams. For a top level team, averaging, that much with the bat and also getting 45 wickets is absolutely sensational. I mean, he is a terrific cricketer, because he gives you that, he can bat at 3, he can bat at 5, 6. But I would say definitely put him in at 3, 4, give him a chance to actually build the innings.
Chris Silverwood is the coach of Sri Lanka, not Bangladesh. Chandika Hathura Singh is a Sri Lankan coach of the Bangladesh side. It's all a bit of a hodgepodge mix, isn't it? Bangladesh have won the toss and they've chosen to bat first in dry conditions. But they say there's a chance of rain, so batting second wouldn't be too bad.
Well, batting second also helps you with just understanding if the rain is around, so Duckworth-Lewis method, all those kind of factors come into play. But if you ask me, you shouldn't play cricket based on weather. You should just back yourself, whatever is your combination, however that your formula of winning games and giving yourself the best chance of winning. So Bangladesh winning the toss and batting first, I think, in Sri Lanka during this tournament, you'll see most of the teams will take that kind of route. It's also very hot and humid there. Always good to just make use of the conditions early on, put runs on board, and then look to defend it.
Let's take a look at the Bangladesh playing 11. Shakib Al Hassan, clearly the captain of the side. They are missing Tamim Iqbal, and that means a debut for Tanzid Hassan Tamim. In the bowling, as you can see, Mustafizur Rahman, we'll talk about that in the mid-innings. Taskin's a big force as well, but there are enough all-round options. Young Tauhid Ridoy gets a go as well. Now, he's been making waves this year, Joy. So this is a pretty good lineup.
This is a very decent lineup. I mean, look, Litton would come in the beginning for Tanzid. Otherwise, this could be the lineup they're playing because they've already seen Mahmudullah out. This is the young, this thing. 3 of those guys are from the under-19 team. There's Shariful, Tanzid, who's making his debut, and Tawfiq Ridoy. So this is a team which has those 3 young guys putting in some fresh blood. Then you have, veteran campaigners like Taskin, Mehdi Hassan. Obviously, Shakib is there. So I think this is it's a good team. The other reason I think that they're putting the batting first is their thought is that with so many Sri Lankan frontline bowlers absent, the strong point of Sri Lanka is bowling, and I think this is where they say that okay, this is a Sri Lankan attack against which we can put this. This is a more inexperienced attack. Can we put it under pressure?
With the likes of Litton Das missing, a 22-year-old gets a go. It could be a blessing in disguise for someone like him to come in and show his class on the Asia Cup stage. He's been talked about a lot.
We've been talking about that, and you've seen players are made out of opportunities given to them. And sometimes those opportunities come on the back of injuries to some other players. We've seen it so many times. It's just about grabbing the opportunity. So yes, for the young lad, it's about going out there, expressing himself freely, and then making a mark for himself at this level.
Sri Lanka, what's their playing 11 like? They will be chasing in this match as Bangladesh have won the toss and chosen to bat first. The Sri Lankan bowling is looking a pale shadow of itself because the first 4 bowlers, the first choice 4 bowlers are missing. 3 pacers and Wanindu Hasaranga is missing.
Yeah, but look, if you look at that, if you see the last 6-7 matches they played, the 2 bowlers who have always played throughout is Mahesh Theekshana and Mahesh Pathirana. And Pathirana and Theekshana are going to be there. Velalage is somebody who they rate really highly. They think he's a prospect and he could easily make his way there. What Sri Lanka does normally very well is they play basically two spinners, 2 fast bowlers, and then back it up with Shanaka bowling a bit and Asalanka bowling a bit and Dhananjay De Silva bowling a bit. So that's the formula that they use. I think this bowling looks, Kasun Rajitha has got a chance again, quick, but he's one of those guys who looks really nice, but bit undercooked at the moment in international. So if a batsman goes after him, he might just fall under pressure. So I think this is a relatively inexperienced Sri Lankan bowling attack. But remember that two of the guys who did so well for them, Pathirana and Theekshana, are still there in that lineup.
The leading wicket taker in the Cricket World Cup Super League, he did well in the qualifiers as well. He was doing everything at the Lanka Premier League, the highest run scorer, the highest wicket taker. Wanindu Hasaranga is the name that most Indian fans will recall because of his presence at the IPL. How big a miss is he for Sri Lanka?
It is very big a miss. You're talking about his contribution to the Sri Lankan cricket has been immense. He contributes with the bat, with the ball, and a very consistent performer. So along with him, you have Theekshana. That's going to form that really formidable spin duo, which can really control the game in the middle overs. So that is going to be the big missing factor for Sri Lanka. Pathirana is a young talent who can really control things at the back end. So that is a little bit sorted for them, but missing Hasaranga, that middle phase of the game and his contribution with the bat is going to be a big miss.
Player injuries give captains and coaches and selectors a huge headache, and we've got an Ask Cricbuzz live question that's coming from Jyoti Tikhor. This one's for our experts Zaheer Khan and Bhattacharjya. It's a long one. It's something that perhaps mirrors the emotions and the worries, the anxieties of the Indian fans. With Bangladesh and Sri Lanka both marred by injuries, how long can teams like them or even India, who still don't have Shreyas or KL Rahul in match fitness, afford to keep them in the ODI World Cup plans? It's a straight question. For how long should selectors wait?
It's a straight question, but the answer to this question is not that straightforward for sure. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are a whole lot of layering when you are making a decision. You got to be very close to the team. You got to be understanding how the medical staff is working, how the fitness trainer is advising. All those advisors when it comes to managing someone is going to be a very critical part of this decision making. So that makes it little complex. And also for team management, you are not talking about just one tournament. The World Cup chat have been going on. As soon as the World Cup is over, you start thinking about the next World Cup. So you're talking about 4 years. So the team management also are looking at what are the gaps, what is the combination, what is the ideal combination for themselves, and which are the players which are fitting that bill, and then giving them that much game time. So when you're looking at all these aspects, the straightforward question, the answer to that is never going to be easy. It's also very important that you continue with that thought process. So, if someone is fit and available, someone has spent enough time, and how you kind of plan their return is also going to be of value. Also, the position of the player matters. The style of the player matters, and the formula or the skeleton which you've defined for the team's success. That shouldn't be broken. So looking at that, then which player is going to fit, we will know very soon, because the team is going to be announced maybe in a week's time.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with what Jack's saying. It's not so easy that. Also, it depends so much on the player. If I am the Sri Lankan coach, if Vannindu Hasaranga is fit one day before the tournament, I will take him. I will put him in the team. Because he's a player who's a game changer for you. Okay. Now, when you're looking at, say, is a KL Rahul fit versus Nishan Kishan? Okay, the difference may be much more marginal. You say that Rahul's a really good prospect, but the difference between him and the guy who could replace him is not that much. But when suppose I have a player like a Hasaranga or a Liton Das, I am going to say these are vital for my team. I will keep them in my plans as long as I do. Secondly, if I have a really experienced player like if a Shakib was injured and he comes in really late, I know he is intelligent enough, he's experienced enough to manage that relative lack and find a way in a team he'll contribute. So much of it depends on the player. If that player is a selection where other players are close to him, then you say that, look, I'll close this chapter as soon as possible. I don't want to delay this chapter. But if the player is like a Hasaranga, who's a total game changer, I will wait as long as it takes. You'll sit on it and say, yeah, team mein dal do dekha jayega. Because agar ye fit hai, even if it's 60% fit, he could change my game.
From the India perspective, I suppose public memory is really short. The 2019 problem was very different from the 2023 problem. That World Cup, there was a problem with who is our number 4. In this case, as Rahul Dravid said, they had identified players for number 4 and 5. It's just unfortunate that they are injured. So the problems are different, and Rahul Dravid has been very honest and open about what the issue is. And I suppose as selector Mr. Agarkar and Rohit Sharma, the captain, are well within the rights to take the time they believe they need. It can't be decided on Twitter.
Also, but the time is running out, and you just got to back your instincts at that stage. So maybe having 2 guys with lack of cricket might be the debate, which they will actually have to debate hard, and then back their instinct and saying that, okay, get everyone on one page. I think the situation when you are dealing with this kind of a scenario, like when you have 2 injured players and both are middle order, and that's how you've planned. So I think you might have to take that tough call. We'll have to see how they go. But the guys who are playing right now, the game time, like I said, so in KL's case, it might be of help to him because he's wicket keeping as well. And when you're looking at the comparative, you have maybe Sanju Samson in that scenario, who is a middle order player, keeps, but when it comes to Ishan Kishan, then he's a top order. And you can only have 15 in the World Cup squad. So this debate is definitely going to be a very, very long and hard debate. But we have to back whatever they decide.
He's also made a very interesting point, because what he's saying is also that if I have to take a choice, if I have to take a punt on one of these guys, say I have to take a punt on Shreyas Iyer, okay, and I say one player is unfit, I've got 10 good players, I'll take a chance. Dekhte hain kya hoga. Okay, it's okay. Can you take a chance on 2? That's what he's questioning. Saying that if both of them are now comparatively empty, can I take a chance on both? So then what the situation, because then it's different, because then 2 places are there. Suddenly, if both these get out, the middle order hole is huge. So that's the thing that you have to look at. Because taking a chance on one player with other teams set around them and all their positions set is okay. Taking a chance on 2 and that if those positions are 4 and 5, that's a big.
And also there is a slight bit of discussion around whether the Indian team should have a left-hander in that middle order. So that is something which we have to wait and see which direction they go in. But these are the things which are going to be tactically used, and how you look at the situation is something which we have to wait and see very soon.
Also, you have a situation where if you see to 2019, the Indian batting side of 2019, the 1, 2 and 3 in form at that time were in phenomenal form. Shikhar, Rohit and Virat at that time were dominating world cricket, They were like the Fakhar Zaman, Babar Azam, the top 3 of Pakistan right now, just dominating, so other people are not getting a chance. I don't think that's the same situation out here. You have a terrific talent who's come in, who's Shubman Gill, and who's had a scorching year. No matter what people say, people forget so fast. They don't realize that 3 months before he was the hottest prospect you saw. So, but it's not the same. Rohit, whatever it is, Rohit is not looking the player he was in supreme form in 2019. You got 5 centuries from him. So all those are also factors. If those looked as strong as they did in 2019, perhaps you'd think a little bit more, be a bit more adventurous in 2023 with the middle order.
Wow, I suppose Indian fans have got their fill of India chat. We'll do a lot more of this on Saturday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. on Cricbuzz Live as we build up to India's first Asia Cup game. That's on Saturday. But for now, all our focus is on Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka. Shakib has won the toss and they've chosen to bat first. Let's take a look at their lineup once again to see what Shakib can do, or should he do something different? Should he be batting higher up the order? Zach, Tamim Iqbal not there, Liton Das, the flavour of Bangladesh cricket not there. Is there a case for Shakib to bat up the order and perhaps allow someone like a Tauhid Hridoy to settle into his role at the big stage?
I think he's going to get the youngsters to bat up the order. So that is something which I'm sensing. I think he'll still look to hang himself down the order. Just once you have that freedom given to the youngsters, let them bat freely at the top. Give them that kind of directives, and then once you get a good start, you have the experience of Shakib, to manage that middle phase. That middle phase and end phase is very critical when you are setting the total. And I think that's something will be the approach from Shakib as well.
You reckon Shakib will be testing his own role, keeping the World Cup in mind?
Will be the second thing. I think Zach has made a very important point. There are very few players who know how to construct 50 over innings. They're all used to 20 over innings. They play in a particular gear. A 50 overs, you cannot play a 50 over match like a 20 over match. And if you saw what Babar Azam and Iftikhar did yesterday, it's a way of constructing the innings and then you go forward it. If you go hard too early, you might lose wickets. You have 30 more overs to play. You can't lose wickets that fast. So all these are factors that I think Shakib is a master ODI player. He's a good T20 player, but he's a masterful ODI player. So he'll try and keep himself in a way where he'll try and protect the youngsters, people who are not used to playing it. Remember, youngsters don't play that much 50 over cricket nowadays as they used to.
Tikshana is a weapon that Sri Lanka will be hoping a lot from. Since Jan 21, his numbers have been terrific. 22 matches, 36 wickets. Now, he could really be the thorn in Bangladesh's way.
Yeah, he's too good. There's no doubt about that. Also, that mystery aspect also comes into play. He can be steady. He can be used in the power play also. So if you have a great start by Bangladeshi openers, you can always have Tikshana as that option just to control things. And that's how Shanaka will be looking to just use Tikshana, because Wanindu Asranga is not there. When Wanindu is there, we've seen him bowl with the new ball. So that is something which we have to see now how Shanaka looks at it. I feel that will be the approach by the Sri Lankan bowlers. And also we'll have to see how Pathirana goes on about doing his business. How he kind of complements Tikshana's that X factor, the unorthodox nature of his bowling. Pathirana also has that approach.
What's the psyche like for a young bowler when the senior partners are missing? Hasaranga is not there, Chamira is not there, Lahiru Kumara is not there. How do things work psychologically for a young bowler who knows that now he has the job to lead this attack?
Well, I think it's the responsibility of the people around them. How to just give them that confidence, also that free license at times. and to just put it out there for them that this is an opportunity. You have to look at it like an opportunity. You have to show what you got. You have to show that this opportunity is going to help them push the other guy. So that is very important. So when that other guy is coming back, he knows that okay, there is someone else also being developed and might be taking my place. So that should be the approach, and that freedom of expressing oneself comes from the people around in the management, in the coaching staff, the captain. Just giving the ball to the player and then saying that okay, here's it. I don't care how many runs you go for. Just go out there, have a field day. Just have the right approach, the attitude, and that aggression, which I want to see from you, which really helps the guy to go. Take the pressure off and just go out and try to give his best.
It can be very liberating for a young bowler, isn't it? I'm the boss now. I mean, in some way, psychologically.
You look at Thikshana's results also. I mean, his average in strike rate is actually higher than Hasaranga's. It's just that Hasaranga's got more wickets. So, somebody like him, you also gives a chance to stand up and say that I can be the fulcrum of the Sri Lankan attack. I can lead this attack. And I think that's how they need to look at it. Shanaka will be telling him that, here, you're the man now. Hasaranga is not there, you're the man I'm depending on you to make this happen.
And sir, I'm depending on you for the joy factor. You're the man now, sir. What do you have for us?
I have something, yeah. Okay, who is the first Indian bowler to achieve the feat Tanveer Sangha accomplished against South Africa? So if you've been watching cricket recently, you have to track what he did and then of course figure out who the first Indian bowler is.
Do you want to give it a shot?
No, I can put the pieces together maybe.
Yeah, he definitely can put the pieces together.
We'll allow our viewers 3.5 hours, that's 50 overs to figure the answer to this question. And remember, at the end of the day, we will tell you what the answer is and who the winner is. Before we say bye, we've got to have predictions, gentlemen. Bangladesh batting first. No Liton Das, no Tamim Iqbal.
I think 285.
Okay.
I'm going to go conservative today. I'll go 256. I'm going lower.
I was going to say 260, but I'm going to go with 270 now. So 270,
256
and 85.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it. A new look Sri Lanka attack, a new look Bangladesh batting attack as well. It's going to be quite a contest. Enjoy the first innings. We'll join you at the 15 over mark with Cricbuzz Combox. Bye for now.